always joke when I get back with old 24-hour fitness friends, like, we're getting the band back together.
Yeah. I know.
It's been forever.
So first off, this is Barbie Brodowsky. We used to work together. God, how long ago?
20, oh my God,
So,
a long time ago. We all had babies. We all had babies when we met.
Yeah. And yeah, it was so long ago. And I remember you made me buy a purse once because I didn't have a purse.
That does sound like something I would do at one point in my career.
Yeah, so you made me buy a purse.
I kind of remember that. That would be my signature. Yeah, I'd make someone buy a purse or shoes or something.
I think I was pregnant then, and because I couldn't buy clothes, so you made me buy a purse.
That makes sense.
So it must have been, it had, okay, so the baby's 20 and Lena's 22 and Ian's almost 29. So it was a while ago. And I think it was either Lena or
yeah. So my son was just, I think 2, and he's 25 or 26.
Okay.
Now. I think he's 26.
Yeah.
So yeah, 25 now.
I thought
the one thing it's funny about when your kids get older, like I don't know how old my son is off the top of my head. That's bad. I mean,
yeah. So for those of you watching this, we taught together and managed 24-hour fitness together for years and years and had lots of shenanigans and lots of fun. And Barbie's actually my very first interview on Zoom here. Well, that's what we're using, but
well, let's talk about how much I've grown. So anybody who calls me Barbie, it's like we go so far back. And by the way, when people call me Barbie, I love it because it's like a term of endearment because we go that far back, right? Like I play pickleball with my dad on the weekends and all his friends call me Barbie because my dad calls me Barbie, and all my old friends from 24 call me Barbie. Okay, so it's like a sweet term of endearment.
What do new friends call you?
I'm Barb.
Barb. Okay.
Yeah. No, I have. And actually, if they call me, if someone new called me Barbie, I'd be like, girl, you don't know me like that.
Well, I am so glad that I have the right to call you Barbie. And
granted, call me Babs, and we'll go to blows there. Don't call me Babs.
I know a Babs. Who's the Babs? Oh, but anyway, but
what's funny about us getting back together and doing this, Michelle, is I always say we need to have a reunion because if you think about what we did and who we were back in the day, I don't think we've ever paused like in the industry to be like, okay, we were all in our 20s and we were making decisions that were so big for the fitness industry, for the fitness space, because 24-hour fitness was the biggest company at the time, you know, in the biggest company. And we were a small group of women. We had men come in and out, but we were a small group of women making these decisions that, for better or for worse, and some of the decisions we made were not that good. Like when we made Group X, like when we made one manager have like 15 clubs, bad decision.
And the cowboy class was kind of probably not a good decision.
No, we tried that with Beachbody. When I was at Beachbody, I thought, I've tried this before and it's not a thing, but everyone has to try things one time for it to work.
Yeah.
But we just made a lot of really great decisions. And the biggest one I talk about with my friends all the time was, Group X was not a term until we came into business. It was the aerobics room.
Yep.
Right. And we changed the name of it to Group X, the Group X room. We were going to call it the Group EX room. Like we had these different things.
I remember
Donna Meyer.
I remember that whole is it X? Is it EX? Is it we're like, we can't use EX because that's too close to sex, but X is fine.
Those are decisions we made, and now that's a universal term.
Yeah.
And you can think that's a big deal. Like that's like Band-Aid, Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Spinning, Group X. Like we were a small group of women making those decisions. And I like to pause every now and then and just think about like what we did, because I don't think we've ever looked back. We just kind of all graduated from that role and moved on to bigger and better things. But we left a huge mark in the industry that forever, Group X instructor. We were called aerobic instructors before us.
Yeah. And it's so funny because we pulled off miracles. Like when it came to things we were doing, we pulled off miracles. And after I had moved on and was, I'm a union president for the Screen Actors Guild now, and I had just stepped in and was on a committee for stuff, and they're talking about doing things, and I'm like, well, I'm still in that brain of and they're just like, Really?
Yeah,
Like, I'm like, oh no, like this is like, oh, I can pull this off. This is fun. And they're like, this will be so much work. And I'm like, this is nothing. Do you know
right.
what I did? Do you?
Remember April Peterson is the one who coined the term running with scissors. She's like, so we had people like, so when you get a team together, there's always that one person or two people that have to check all the boxes. So you have to, what we did and what everybody should do is we created a really great team. Well, Donna Meyer did it. She created a really great team of people who were very type A, who had to cross the I's and dot the T's. And this other group who were like, we were just like balls to the walls, throwing off ideas and running and just going, ah. And we
Yeah.
had like April Peterson, Michelle Siobhan Taylor, Lynn Frank. We had other people like, you know, making sure everything, like they were like the ones making sure it's all good to go, like lined up straight. And
Yeah.
we just kept plowing ahead. So we got big things done because some of us could like come up with the ideas and just throw it against the wall and see what stuck.
Yeah.
And the others were like cleaning up the mess behind us, making sure all the systems were in place. And I think that's probably one of the most successful ways to operate a startup because we were really a startup, you know?
Yeah.
The role I have now and role at Beachbody. So right now I'm the COO of a company called Workout, and we're a startup out of Canada. And I'm so comfortable in what I do because at 24 Fitness, we were a startup. We were like 6 or 7 women jumped in a room, create
Yep.
a department. It was a startup.
Yeah.
Beachbody, they bought Powder Blue, they dropped it in Beachbody, they gave it to me and Shannon Pappas and said, here's your startup, create all the systems. So it takes a certain type of person to work in that space. But if you're agile in fitness and you're open-minded, like the world is your oyster. You can do anything in this space, anything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we had some good time. And I think what was key to us is we were creating, but we were also being procedural because we were running a business, a huge multi-million, billion-dollar business.
Yeah.
But we were also having fun. We were, I mean, it was kind of like outdoor school and cheerleading camp and an SNL skit and then business and then workout and then just,
Donna Meyer,
it was everything.
Donna Meyer, I credit so much of my career to Donna Meyer. And I'm not in touch with her anymore. I really don't really talk to her anymore. And she will always be one of the most important people in my life because she gave me the opportunity, number one. But then she taught me how to do really big things on a shoestring budget. She taught us all how to get a lot of work done, but have fun. Like, so my real rule is if you don't have fun, then why even do it?
Yeah.
Everything you do has to have some fun element to it because there's a lot of crap work we have to do. So let's make it fun because if it's not, then it's just spreadsheets and garbage. Like, you know, it has to be fun. She instilled that in all of us, and I'm so grateful to her forever for what she taught me.
Yeah, yeah, and it was just such a crazy time, and I think the thing that I've missed the most about being in that role with management was just missing seeing people and, you know, all the people from all over the US that I worked with and trained up from teaching and you and everybody. So I'm really excited to interview you today and over the next coming weeks and months, other people. I'll probably get Donna on here and Siobhan Taylor and Sean McGahee and
we were such a fun team. Like we were such a there was no scarcity between us. There was no competition. We had each other's backs. It was such a healthy, fun. I mean, I have nothing but this fun. Now listen, it's like childbirth, right? Like you're out of it, you're done. But I have the fondest memories of what we did. We went to those idea conferences and we held like, remember we would have like 24-hour fitness day and we would do like a dance. I'm not a dancer. They'd have us doing like these dance routines. Like I'm not a dancer, but Michelle Siobhan Taylor made me feel like I could dance. You know, we created this amazing, fun culture for all of our instructors. And I think,
although she did yell in practice for that. Are you talking about the wig one where we all wore wigs? She did yell at us a little bit. She got a little frustrated, but yes, it was fun. And we looked fabulous. And what was this?
Oh yeah. She had the funniest things. And then I would always block someone because I didn't know my marker. I was never a dancer. Like, were you supposed to stand and were you supposed to move too? And I remember Donald pushing me up, like, girl, move. I'm like, so much fun though. Like, Donna Meyer created a great team by allowing us to like learn how to dance together. Because you want to build a team, try to teach them a dance routine together.
Yeah.
That'll
I think our industry is such an interesting skill. And in fact, early on in the pandemic, I was teaching classes on Zoom. And I remember watching the TV show night hosts like Seth Meyers and
Uh-huh.
Trevor Noah and everyone. And I was like, you know what? And I could tell they were out of their space because they didn't have their audience there, which is what I was doing on Zoom. Is like I couldn't see
Right.
the audience as I would in a class. And I thought, you know what? They can't do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
They can't do it. They can't teach. They can't move people, educate people, and be funny, and be relevant, and give them the news, and like so many things. I was like, you know what? I challenge them to try to do what I do.
If you think about an instructor, like you talk about water cooler, the importance of water cooler conversations, like a good instructor, we know what a good instructor is. And by the way, not that there aren't good instructors now, because there's plenty of good instructors now, but we pumped out some of the best instructors back in our day because we talked about connection, we talked about engagement, we talked about personality, that it factor that was so important to Donna, like having that fun it factor. That now I think people are so into like pre-designed choreography that they just know the choreography and they're no longer taught that connection piece.
No.
You know,
And
they're no longer able to have the conversations about freaking anything with the members, you know,
yeah.
and the importance of knowing people's names, the importance of knowing what's happening in the, you know, like in your community minimally, you know.
Well, for sure. And so much has gone online with stuff. And I know, like, I swear all I see is like someone doing leg lifts with like an amazing butt,
Right.
but they've even got a timer. They don't even have to count because they have a timer doing it for them. And they're not really, they're just basically like, watch me do the leg lift and look how good my butt looks. It's
Well,
like,
it's so funny because I remember Shalene always talked about fitness porn back in the day, you know, like there's like a version or two of fitness that's like bait, like clickbait, you know, to get people over.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And it's funny too, because a lot of the fitness professionalism is not, I hate to say that because I don't know if like an old lady, like get off my lawn, but I think that there's a lot missing sometimes in the experience of being an instructor. And we need to get back to it. Like never stop learning, never stop growing. What I see happening is instructors become instructors and they stop taking classes.
yeah,
They stop taking other people's classes. They start teaching so much that they no longer take classes. And that's the best way to be an instructor, is to take other people's classes, better for worse, right? Either you're gonna like what they do, you don't like what they're gonna do, but you're gonna take away something from it. And
yeah.
I
Well,
think best practices like that are gone now.
and I have to say that one of the things I loved teaching a class or teaching a group of instructors to teach and then watching them
Mhm.
finally teach. And in fact, Carrie Howen, who I'm going to do one of these with,
Yep,
I
yep.
remember the first time she taught, and I wasn't there to be her hands-on instructor, but I still remembered her transition of her
Mhm.
first class, and I missed that a lot. And I think I think I might be having a revelation right now. I think maybe I'm doing this to see, what interest there is out there in people learning to teach, because no one's teaching people how to teach anymore in
Yeah.
our
No,
venues.
all they have
So
is the pre-designed classes, right?
yeah,
And pre-designed classes just teach you the choreography. What's missing is that hands-on component. And what a great time to do it now, because you can do it, you can learn how to do it virtually.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it's a great time to do that. There's something special. And then also then a great instructor can actually take their content online and they can connect online.
yeah, yeah.
There's so much to being an instructor, and people who've been instructor for a while will can relate to what I'm saying, but I just think it's so important that you don't stop taking classes and you don't stop learning. You just
Yeah.
don't
Well,
stop
and
learning.
I know for me, because when we were in management, we're busy doing management, we're teaching, and that sometimes it would just be one phrase, one move,
Oh
one
yeah.
thing that would just like inspire you, and you're like, oh, and then you would just go down this other route, like, oh, I'm going to focus on this, and I'm going to go down this and do this, and you would feel so inspired from, like, oh, I'm going to do triple pulses of everything.
Right. So, well, I have a Peloton. I'm a Peloton person,
Mhm.
and I've learned so much about being an instructor from Peloton alone, it's next level instruction, obviously, because they hire actors and actresses to be, on their platform. Most come from like that space, like professional dancers or actors, something like that,
Yeah.
So they have that it factor times 5. But even taking those classes there's a takeaway all the time that I can, borrow and fix and make my own. There's just so many opportunities to be a better instructor, that especially now in this marketplace where gyms are reopening, but not to scale. So
Yeah.
there'll be less need for instructors. So it's gonna be highly competitive.
Yeah.
And making sure that you have the full armor of great instruction, great it factor on before you go back that space. So you make sure you're one of the first ones they pick to come back. Because
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting. And also kind of making sure we all band together too, because some clubs are opening up and they want to pay us half what we're worth. And I think some will take it. Some will take because they need the money or they just want to teach.
Yeah.
But some of the things I've seen go on with these clubs reopening, where they're only paying like half what they did before, it's a bummer,
I know, to go back, like, especially when in the world they're talking about, equity and, equality and pay and all of this stuff. And then they're taking the instructors who have kept people healthy through the whole pandemic and who've bent over backwards to take care of their people in any venue they could. And they're like,
Yeah.
and we're going to drop your pay. I think one place that I was teaching wanted to drop it. And I was like, I made more than this in 1991.
Yeah.
When I first
Yeah.
started teaching.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah, I was offered something similar to that. And I don't teach to make money. I mean, I'm in a sweet spot in my career, right? I have a job in this space, and teaching is like a fun hobby. And I got a phone call to come back, and they cut my pay by about $15. And I was like, no. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't do it for the money, but I also am not going to set the stand. I'm not going to allow that standard to be set in my house. And that I did that to protect everybody else too. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. I in fact, when they're like, so we wanted to, I went like this. I went,
I know.
And I said, and the poor messenger, I was like, I'm sorry. I know this isn't your fault personally, but okay, come on. You have to agree with, and I actually was like, you have to agree with me. This sucks, right? And I actually made the person agree with me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate.
It's awful.
In this role I have now, nothing's changed. Like Michelle, I'm getting blown up right now. It's like after 5 o'clock and I'm getting blown up. There's something about this role too, in this space. Like when you have career longevity, I feel like like when you manage group fitness, as long as a club was open, you're always working. So that means you're working weekends, holidays.
Yep.
Like if you want to have career longevity in this space, man, you better be ready to work long days, take the call. Like I'm getting blown up at 5:30 at night. Like there's so much beauty to what we do, but there's also there's a way of life to what we do too, right?
Yeah.
Like there's like a lifestyle to it. If you're working full time in fitness, it's a lifestyle. Like it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I could go back to a different lifestyle when I retire, maybe. But it's all I know, and I think people kind of relate to that, right? So your instructor subbing like on the weekends, or if you want to stay relevant, you have to like say yes to subbing on the weekends. You have to say yes to the 5:30 call, and yes to a lot of things. It's such a great place to be with the right mindset, because there's always something happening. There's never a dull moment.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about this new project that you're doing and this new startup that you're doing.
It's all God's timing, Michelle, because I like most people, I lost my work on March 15th, 2020. Like the world came to an end in fitness. And I applied for a lot of jobs.
It came to a change. It came to a change. It came to a head. Not an end, it came to a head.
Yeah. It was for a lot of us, it was very disruptive, especially if you found your identity through your role or your in the space. So I interviewed for a lot of jobs, and I was getting ready to sign a great deal with Gold's Gym SoCal, and in swoops this startup that's like, hey, join our team. And I was like, and work from home. We want you to be the COO, work from home, do this business for us. And I say all of that to tell everybody that when you think you have something and you're not quite sure about it, something's going to be there. Like I never expected this to happen to me. I thought I'd go back to the gym space, and I just turned that one corner, and there was just this amazing opportunity.
Yep.
So I say that because I know there's a lot of people out there right now who are unemployed, waiting for their next big break. And I'm telling you right now, keep looking, keep talking to people. It's going to happen through your connections. So stay connected. So what we're doing is it's a online personal training, or actually it's a health and wellness platform where we actually connect trainers and clients, we call them movers, together on the platform. So we have movers around the country looking for personal trainers. Yeah. We have trainers around the country that have been disenfranchised or want to work from home or want to make their own hours or want to, take East Coast clients so they can have, like in the dead of the afternoon, those 2:00 spots that suck for trainers in California. East Coast is prime time.
I never
There's so much
opportunity. That's brilliant. Yeah.
So we brought these two amazing things together, where most platforms are just for, the clients looking for things, or just the trainers looking for things. We brought them both together on a fully optimized platform where we actually bring the movers to the trainers. So the trainers, we just want trainers on the platform, and we have the movers. We have this operating, this marketing machine that's happening, that's bringing on this list of people who are looking for personal trainers all over the world, looking for personal trainers. And they're going to find them on the platform called Workout. And we have one-on-one, small group classes, events. So it's going to be, I always say that, like in our time, Michelle, there's been so many disruptions, right? Remember when Body Pump launched? We're like, what? And then Taibo, and then Turbo Kick, right? So Turbo Kick was the big, kickboxing was first, and then Turbo Kick was a disruptive thing. And then cycling, disruptive. And then Zumba, disruptive. And then CrossFit, disruptive. And then Peloton, disruptive. Workout, we're the next thing that's going to be disruptive, because no one's doing what we're doing. Yeah. So I'm super excited about it. And we're looking for trainers to be on the platform. Any health and wellness person. We have meditation specialists. We have licensed dietitians, personal trainers. We have, you name it. If it's health and wellness, we offer those things on the platform. So we launched June 1st. So we're getting ready to do our big launch. It's been a long time coming. So yeah, it's super exciting. I've never been more proud to be part of anything in my entire life. Like, it's just like the best work I've ever been a part of. I think I probably say it all the time though. I think Beach probably saying the same thing. Yeah. But like when you're in it and you're doing it, you're like, this is so good. Yeah. So good. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's just, the things that you go through prepare you for the next thing that you're going to go through. Yeah. And that's what, and that's what it should be, is like, oh, this is the best thing. Now, this is the best thing. Now that, and as you grow and so that's super exciting. I'm super happy for you.
One song. Pardon me?
I said I was super, super happy for you, and I missed what you said.
Oh, thanks. What I was saying was, you get to a place in your career, you're kind of looking for, so I'm 54. And I don't jump jobs. Like I've had every job I've had for a long period of time. So you're looking for like that swan song, right? Like that, your last, like, okay, this right here, I'm going to ride this thing. I'm going to ride it. And I want this to be like the one that carries me off till my retirement. Yeah. Because it's the work is that good. And who knows, but it's so much fun, Michelle. And we're so blessed to be in this space, even if you're just teaching classes, or if you're just, if you're teaching classes, or if you're in management full time, or if you creating content, there's not a better industry. It's so cool. There's room for everybody in this industry.
Yeah. Well, and I've been so blessed because I have the fitness industry and the film industry, and so I have the two F&F, and they're both. It's so great. I mean, fitness is a huge part of my life, but then also film. In fact, I'm in this hotel room up in Seattle. I'm working on Zoe Kravitz's film with director Steven Soderbergh. Pretty excited. So I don't know exactly what we're doing. I'll find more out tomorrow. But so I just arrived today, got my swabs, negative, got my room service, and
okay, helpful.
And so I get to have. I've been so blessed to have like two paths that I'm walking, and I'm starting.
But I think your fitness path is kind of, but your fitness pushed you in. Like your fitness allowed for that to happen. right? Like a less fit person couldn't do what you do.
Yeah, well, I actually started as an actor. I was an actress for, well, I was a sports model, then an actress, then got wrangled into stunt
Yeah,
because of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of gone hand in hand. And now I'm a president of the Screen Actors Guild up here in Oregon, and causing
that's
lots
so
of trouble
awesome.
there, and writing a pilot and a feature right now, and working on getting my representation with that. So who knows where I'll go. But I just I think about like, oh, if this transitions over, you know, will I still do fitness? And I'll have to do it some way, because it's such, I I can't
Yeah.
not help people. Like the stories over the years, and I'm sure you have thousands of them as
Yeah.
well, of ways we've changed people's lives. And you know,
Mhm.
not doctors. I mean, doctors do change, they affect people's lives. They don't change
Right.
people's lives. We change people's lives.
That's a
Um,
great way to
and
put it.
and you know, it's, I can never leave it behind. And that's why I just, like I said, I feel so blessed to be in both worlds. So
It's such a
yeah.
sweet industry for that reason alone, because the industry, I mean, like that's the royal we, the industry as a whole allows for people to be in it full time, to dabble in it, to play in it, to leave and come back. Like it's nothing like you, when you leave it, you can always come back. It's not something you outgrow. There's no scarcity. I always say there's no scarcity in fitness. There's room for every body type, every fitness level. There's something for, if you want to teach, there's a place for you. It's one of the few places that if you want to do it, there's a place for you.
Yeah, yeah. And you
For
also,
sure.
not everyone appeals to I mean, because I mean, you can attest to this. There's people that loved our classes and wouldn't miss it for
Mhm.
anything. And then there's people that are like, Michelle's okay. Barbie's okay.
Yeah.
That we weren't
Like
their
my
cup of,
dad always
and
says,
that's fine.
there's an there's an ask for every saddle. My dad always says that, like there's an ask for every saddle. It's one of my favorite things to say because it's so true. There's something there for anyone, you know, like
Yeah.
you can find what you like in the space. You can find what you like to teach. You can find what you like to follow. It's one of the, like there's one of the few places where it's all inclusive.
Yeah.
It's all inclusive.
Yeah, and it's such important work. Like I said, we affect people, we
Mhm.
affect change, we change people's lives mentally, physically, and yeah, it's such an industry to be to
And we shouldn't forget that, because I think what we do gets minimized sometimes. It gets minimized by, by clubs wanting to pay us less, or
Mhm.
when they just want to add virtual content to clubs versus a live instructor. And listen, like I said, I love Peloton. Peloton's great for my house.
Yeah, yeah,
But when you go to a club, you want to have that live experience.
yeah,
So we have to remember, like, we can't allow ourselves to be minimized, because we're so important to health and wellness of, I mean, I don't want to be dramatic, but the world. But if you think about it, like, we're responsible for the health and wellness of the world.
yeah,
We really are. We lead the charge, just to move well, move better and move well,
yeah,
and move any way you want to, just move your body.
yeah. Well, and like I said, we can't allow ourselves to be minimized, and we're probably the most guilty of that, of like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I just want to teach this. I just want to help you. But you also need to understand that you using your body. I mean, because physically we will run out of fuel at some point, and is you do need to take care of your body, and take
Yep.
care of your income, and take care of and take care of your time, and so
So
I think
true.
that's been one of the challenges with our industry, is people are doing it for such good reasons that they also think like, but they don't need to pay me that much. They don't need to pay, but literally Barbie, people who worked as hard as you and I worked, and the rest of our team that you were talking about earlier in 24-hour fitness, we worked harder. I guarantee you, we worked harder than Bill Gates has ever worked a day in his life.
Well, you can't prove otherwise, so it's a good statement. You can't disprove it.
I know someone in his inner circle. But no, but literally, like, we worked so much harder than people in our industry doing other jobs
Mhm.
that were making 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times what we were, and doing a fraction of the work.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
um I do.
Sometimes you need to get your foot in the door, and I appreciate that. But what happened to when the pandemic happened, and I didn't disagree with it. A lot of free content got put out there, and that was fair because everyone was back on their heels. People want to just get moving, and then offer people an opportunity who lost their jobs to keep moving in fitness, right?
Yeah.
But it got to the point where there was so much free content out there that it did water down. It just watered down the entire space, and it made people expect things for free or for nothing. So people charge like $25 to be in their online platform a month, and they teach 10 classes a month. Like, it's making sure you charge what you're worth is, and I agree with you too. I've been underpaid so many times because it's just, because money's weird to talk about, I think too, but making sure you, when you're looking for a job in the space, have an idea in your mind what you want to make.
Yeah.
And stick to that, stick to that, because if you don't go with a plan, when you talk to them about what you want to make, you can get, bulldozed really fast.
Well, and it's funny they bring that up, and I'm actually going to sound a little bit hypocritical, because when I moved into the space for pandemic, I actually did donation only.
Yeah.
And
it's fair when it first happened, it was fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
And that's where I've sat, because I did have so many people on budgets and on different things. I was like, you know what, and I didn't want, for the sake of the pandemic and health, for anyone to feel like they couldn't participate because they couldn't afford it. And so I wanted that to be an option, but going to work for a corporation and being a manager and doing work for someone, that's where I think we've been undervalued the most over the years.
Agreed.
And we literally pulled off miracles. Like, had they wanted vaccinations to go like faster, they should have hired fitness people or one or both. They would have finished. We'd be done.
Sister, yes, Michelle. My sister's a live event producer, which is her degrees in TV production and film.
I forgot.
Nancy.
Yeah.
Like, they gave it to the fire departments. What do in San Diego? It's like, what do fire departments know about getting out vaccines? Give it to an event producer.
Oh yeah.
Event planner. They would have Canada vaccinated by now too, by the way. Like, they'd have absolutely, like, there's certain skill sets that can absolutely crush this stuff. So well, it's been so much fun, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad, and I was so happy to do my first interview with you. And I'm, like I said, so excited about what you're doing in the space and just continuing that meaningful journey of changing people's lives, affecting people's lives in a positive way, because there's way too much.
Before I go, my calling in this industry too has always been, like you started to, like, give people the ability to make money in the space. So we would hire instructors to teach classes, that front row Joe, the stay-at-home mom, have her teach 5 classes a week, maybe give her a side hustle so she can have some pocket change. That was always my thing. And I just kind of, that's always my calling, to help people make a living in fitness. And that's why this is so important what I'm doing now, because now at Beachbody, I did the same thing, right? Like Beachbody, I hired the master trainers that train the instructors. So it's like, so again, I'm doing this on a larger scale, but my calling, like my purpose, is to help people make money in the fitness space. That's my calling. And it's so important to me that if you want to do it, let's find you a way to do it. Let's map it out so you can, either make a living in the space, or have it be one of your, like, it takes, what they say, you should have 5 streams of income right now. Have it be one of your streams of income to make a living. So thanks for having me on the podcast. This is gonna be fun. I'm excited to listen to the other ones. I can't wait to hear Michelle Shimon Taylor on here. He's got stories.
I'm so excited to see people that I haven't seen or talked to in years, and catch up and find out what everyone's doing. So thank you so much for.
Oh my gosh, it's been my pleasure, Michelle. It's so good to see you. And I still think we have a reunion.
We could plan an in-person one eventually, but we could also do a Zoom one. I did one for an old gym years ago. It was super fun.
Go back to Vegas.
Yeah.
Go back to Vegas.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am going to stop our recording now, and so Barbie, if someone wants to reach out to you, how do they find you if they want to find out more about your company?
It's Barb at Workout, WRKOUT, kind of fun little workout. You can see my name right there. So it's barb@workout.com.
Okay.
Email
well, and
me.
I'll try to put that when I post this. I'll put
I'll help
that
everybody.
information there too. So anyway,
Sweet.
all right. Well, thank you.
All right.